What's up guys, how's it going? This is Steve as always, back with yet again another review for Unearthed Films. A few weeks back I reviewed the newly released American Guinea Pig, The Song of Solomon, and described how much I loved it and how much I appreciated the fact that it was so different from the other American Guinea Pig films. I mean, every installment of the American Guinea Pig series is different from one another, but I really appreciated what they did in that film. But now we have the fourth installment, the newest release in the American Guinea Pig series. This one was directed by Poison Rouge, and that is American Guinea Pig Sacrifice. Before we get into the review, I wanted to give the shout out of the day to my boy DOUBLESHOTJ. All you guys know him, 22 Shots of Moods and Horror co-host. Go check him out. Link in the description below. JP, you're my boy. The film centers around a guy named Daniel, who is pretty much traumatized by the death of his father. Time passes by ever since Daniel's father passed away, and Daniel decides to return to his old house. Besides being traumatized by his father's death, Daniel is a cutter. This poor guy literally mutilates his entire body, and in the process, he takes selfies of some of his proudest mutilations. The whole process is mainly served to sacrifice either parts of his body or his whole soul to a goddess named Ishtar. And to be honest, there's really not too much else to talk about besides, Daniel continually mutilating himself for this goddess named Ishtar. There's no story, really no dialogue. All the dialogue is in third person. So that's pretty much all I can really talk about plot-wise. Now my thoughts. Again, every installment of the American Guinea Pig series is very different from each film. Bouquet of Guts and Gore mainly relied on shock value and was kind of a throwback to the Japanese Guinea Pig series. Bloodshot served to be just a weird and very, very morbid film. The Song of Solomon was more of a scary film, an actual horror film that didn't have to rely on blood and gore to make it so effective. For Sacrifice, I would say it is ultra disturbing, but also very depressing. Dealing with depression is no laughing matter, and the lengths that some of these poor people with depression go through is scarier than any horror film that can ever be made. The people that cut themselves and mutilate their bodies because they're so depressed is really disturbing and depressing to even think about, and that's why Sacrifice is so effective. The scenes are so disturbing and so depressing, yet it is hard to look away. Throughout the film, I found myself hanging on the edge of my chair wondering, what is Daniel gonna do with that screwdriver? Or what is Daniel about to do with that drill? The scenes are ultra graphic, and to be honest, I think American Guinea Pig Sacrifice is probably the most disturbing film I have seen in maybe a year or two. Truth or Dare, directed by Jessica Cameron, being a runner-up. There were some points in this film where I almost covered my eyes. The scenes were that graphic. For only having two characters in the film, Daniel and Ishtar, the characters do a pretty good job. Daniel does a good job at portraying a guy with serious depression issues. As for Ishtar, I really couldn't understand her character that much. I know she's some goddess of some sort, but the third person dialogue that she says in this film is really, really graphic. The cinematography is absolutely beautiful. There's some scenes, especially by the water, that are just outstanding. Violence and gore, while it might not be as much of a bloodbath as Bouquet of Guts and Gore, I think that Sacrifice has some of the most effective gore in the whole American Guinea Pig franchise. As for the Blu-ray, the features on it are great. The interview with Poison Rouge is really cool. There's one documentary on some reference to paintings in the film and how they tied it in with certain points in the film. Not really a complaint, but more of a question: why didn't Sacrifice get a 3-disc release like Bouquet of Guts and Gore, Bloodshot, and The Song of Solomon? For a rating, I'm going to give American Guinea Pig Sacrifice in between an indifferent and a would recommend. The reason I would say indifferent is because there's some things in this film that I just couldn't understand and pick up on, and it's definitely not a film for everybody. if you're a hardcore gorehound and just want to see some brutal special effects, then I would definitely recommend Sacrifice to you. The film is now available on unearthedfilms.com. I'll put the link in the description below. And also check out the other American Guinea Pig films as well as the other titles in the Unearthed Films library. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you dislike it, hit that thumbs down button. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, really whatever it is you guys do. Once again, my name is Steve, and until next time, see y'all later.